Time to abandon ship.
Oh no!
Here we go.
Can I persuade you to join us for a drink? It's a tradition. Here, here.
Jar Jar, homie, my main man, quickly. Before the Separatists attack, get into the escape pod.
Hey! This is escape, then we're the pod.
May the 4th be with you, or may the Force be with you. However you want to say it, it is Star Wars Day 2024, and we have just come out of the re-release of Star Wars The Phantom Menace, which is pretty exciting. We've also got a very special returning guest of ours, Ried, and we have Bryce coming back on as well, and Blake, and whoever else decides to pop in. We're going to be going through some Star Wars news, some May the 4th things, some traditional May the 4th merch sale announcements, heck yeah, and talk a little bit about, of course, the Bad Batch finale, which came out this past week. We're going to save Tales of the Empire for the next 2 weeks, so be sure to catch those next week and the week after. But yeah, today we got the finale for the Bad Batch, which is great as well. So lots to talk about on Star Wars Day. Let's get into it.
Another happy landing.
We must walk the way together.
It all started with the fans.
If I could sum up Star Wars fans in one word:
energy,
Love. Trust.
Fearless.
Loyalty.
I'm counting on you.
We stay together.
we're a family.
Come on, let's go!
Star Wars, it's a family that you'll carry on with you for a very long time to come, I think and I hope.
This is where the fun begins.
Come on, baby. Do the magic hand thing.
Star Wars has been something I did with my father when I was a kid.
And then it just became like this tradition.
It's been a part of my life forever.
This fandom brings in friends that I've never had before.
I'm looking for someone.
Looking? Found someone you have, I would say. Long live the Empire.
We're doing Star Wars, baby!
It's unreal.
The amount of effort you put into being fans, it's part of what makes Star Wars so great.
For all the Star Wars fans,
May the 4th be with you.
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 All right, welcome back. Happy Star Wars Day. And we have an artificial audience out there. Thank you all for being here.
Hey, boys.
Hey, yeah. So thank you all for being there. Yes. Hello, and hello to Blake, Bryce joining us from the HoloNet.
That's right. Hello there, indeed.
That's right. We also have Ried returning in the escape pod. So hello, welcome back.
What's up, my dudes?
It's been a while. When was the last time you were on?
Was it one of the tribute nights?
It may have been. That may have been another May the 4th, maybe.
Was it May the 4th or was it New Year's?
Yeah, we make a habit of playing a trivia game every May the 4th, so it could have been, or it could have been New Year's, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, one of the two. It's definitely been a while though.
Pretty crazy though. If this is a 1-year anniversary.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Maybe. Oh yeah. You're right. Well, this year we're going to be celebrating.
This guy, we can only get him once a year.
Yeah, hard to book indeed.
I'm basically a celebrity.
Fun fact is, Ried, you were the first guest on Star Wars Escape Pod.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, because
cool.
In the third episode, so the intro I did myself, and then the first episode I also did myself, and then you were the first guest on episode 3, which was Vader Immortal episode 1, the VR review.
Oh, that's so cool. I remember that game too.
Yeah.
That was super cool.
That
good game.
Yeah, it was.
a
Yeah,
good game.
that dropped September 13th, 2019. So yeah, a bit of a while ago.
5 years ago.
5 years ago. Wow.
Yeah.
And this podcast is still going strong. I love it.
Crazy. Yeah, it's
We're
never.
all just Padawans at that time. That's right.
Yeah.
A long time.
Right.
Since then, we've removed our braids.
I gotta say, Star Wars Day, May the 4th. I feel like it's every year that we celebrate such a day. As Star Wars fans, like you look around the outside world, and it seems to just be getting bigger and bigger. Like everywhere you look, everywhere you go. I saw a video of New York. There was like some big towers that had lightsaber like lights light up the sky, and it looked like it was a red and blue lightsaber with the building being like the hilt. It was crazy. And then a big Star Wars Day projector, image on the side of the building. Super cool. More recently, Hayden Christensen lit up the Empire State Building with a big Star Wars thing, and yeah, you can look that up too. Lots of stuff going on. I mean, Kirk was just eating Star Wars cakes like yesterday. He was out. He was out caking.
Oh my god.
When he listens to this, he's gonna have a good laugh. He knows what I'm talking about. But he sends me these videos of like these cakes that he's eating. Like one of them looks like Grogu. One of them look like a little Death Star.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh man, they should do. That's a good one. I'd love to see cakes or something that is the eggs that Grogu eats.
I want one with the Death Star, but the laser beam is a candle, and then you light the candle, and then it's actually a firecracker inside the cake, and then it goes in, and then the cake explodes.
That'd be pretty good.
Oh man,
I'd pay for that cake. That'd be legit.
Yeah, that would be legit.
I'd do something dumb. Comes with a firecracker inside.
Yeah, a little firecracker, and then poof.
Oh
That's
man,
so dumb. Oh my gosh.
So May the 4th is I say this every year, but for those of you who this might be your first time tuning into the podcast, it might be your first Star Wars Day on Star Wars Escape Pod, so welcome to the podcast. It's just a bit of a fun fact as to what Star Wars Day is. The first recorded reference of the phrase being used was May the 4th, 1979, 2 years after Star Wars had hit theaters, and the day after Margaret Thatcher was elected as the Prime Minister in the UK. And her political party, the Conservatives, placed a congratulatory advertisement in the evening news saying, "May the 4th be with you, Maggie, congratulations." And even though the holiday was not created or declared by Lucasfilm, many Star Wars fans have chosen to celebrate the holiday, and it has since been embraced by Lucasfilm and Walt Disney Company as an actual sort of Star Wars celebration. Now there's sales going on Star Wars stuff all weekend long. It's
that's pretty cool.
You can pick up Steam games for a lower cost and buy Star Wars stuff. You can get Lego does something now. Lego does like a Star Wars merch exclusive that you can buy only if you're buying like a Star Wars Lego set. So that's like another thing as well. Tales of the Empire, the whole season.
I missed out on Revan.
Yeah, you still got time. You can still go through the online store, and I think it's all weekend long. I think, but if not, then we still got an hour.
You know what it is?
What about Revan?
You get a little Lego.
I got 1 hour.
I think. Yeah.
Oh,
you got 1 hour. Yeah, because starts online
is it
shopping.
Revan?
I think is it Revan? No. I think it might be the battle droid.
Revan was no. I said I missed Revan.
No, I think. Oh, you know what it is? I think. No, what? I think it's Revan. Or no, so it's Malik. Revan is the one that we missed. Maybe. I think it's. It's one of the two.
Malik. Jeez.
You're not making this better. You're making
I gotta get on
Josh.
there.
He's losing it. No, it's so I think that one though comes with one of the 25th anniversary Lego sets, but the actual like May the 4th celebration exclusive that you get is like a little battle droid sort of army set, and that one you only get if you buy like a Lego set over $100 or whatever, $50 or whatever it is. Anyways, Tales of the Jedi also released today, which is like the whole season, 6 episodes, seeing the origins of Morgan Elsbeth and Barriss Offee. That's something that I think everyone's been really looking forward to seeing for the last 10 years. We haven't known what happens to Barriss. Now we can finally do that. So So yeah, I mean, obviously we'll be doing after shows for that in the coming weeks as well. But I'm gonna start off with this question: how do you guys celebrate Star Wars Day? Like, do you do anything? Maybe Ried, maybe you can start.
Watch movies.
Oh, there you go. Okay,
That's pretty much
watch the movies.
My bar's set pretty low, or play some of the video games. I'd say probably my go-to would be the video games if I was to choose.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. What about you, Bryce?
I sit on my couch and I look out the window and I remember the good times before the
nice.
For the Empire. For the dark time.
When the fans knew best.
No, I don't know. I always find something to do or watch, right?
Yeah.
Get into it. It is funny, like how, like I guess maybe like when I was a kid, I watched Star Wars literally every day. I'm not quite on that schedule as far as a tempting functioning adult, but like it's like when I do watch Star Wars, man, I just get this like shot of adrenaline like straight to my heart, and all I want to do is watch like more Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
True,
I don't know if you guys
True.
experience that too now, but
Right.
I mean, you can't.
I don't know about you, but Attack of the Clones coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, you can't watch any of the Star Wars movies without wanting to do like the full. Like you can't just like watch one and leave it hanging. Like you gotta finish it.
Yeah,
gotta
gotta
watch
finish
all of
the
them.
series. Yeah. Going to
So true.
Going to the Phantom Menace Re-Release tonight has started something up now for the next couple weeks.
Yeah, full send or no send.
Yeah.
That's right.
Here we go. Clone Wars for like the 20th time.
It's a long watch too, bro.
Yeah. Well,
I just used to have it on my on like the DVD on repeat, and I, you'd like if you like had like a DVD on, and you'd like wake up and it'd be like 3 a.m, and like the Camino DVD like menu would be on.
Yeah, the
like,
disc menu.
Yeah, I'd be like, what's going on?
Oh man, I lost my place.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I can say, like, I mean, as big as this thing grows each year, more and more companies and like sort of legitimate like people and places sort of start to celebrate this thing. Like the Oscars, it's funny because like the Oscars has never granted George Lucas an Oscar, right? The Academy, that is. Yeah. And yet last night at midnight, they premiered a Star Wars video called Star Wars at the Oscars. And I mean, Star Wars has won sort of some Oscars in the past, but they've never granted George Lucas an Oscar as a director, right? So anyway, I just thought it was sort of ironically.
Do directors get Oscars? I thought that was just an actor's thing.
No, yeah, directors get an Oscar.
Or is it like an award?
It's like best director, I think, is the Oscar.
Oh.
Yeah, there's like cinematography, and I think director has one, and I don't know. But anyway,
Yeah.
George has never personally won an Oscar, right? So,
right.
But yeah, let's take a quick listen at this because I thought it was sort of, I don't know, nice that they put this together, I guess.
May the Force be with you.
This is not the way to our seats. Actually, I do not look like him. He happens to look rather like me.
And the winner is
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Star Wars. Star Wars. John Williams for Star Wars.
Thank you very much, George Lucas and Gary Kurtz, for the opportunity of composing the score for your marvelous film.
It is John Williams. Oh, he has already won 5 Oscars. No wonder he has a good seat.
May the Force always be with him. Here is Mark Hamill.
And may the farce be with you.
I'll come back for you.
Great to be here and to be together again.
Yeah, it's great. I'm also here to pick up my monthly check under the Jedi pension plan. So.
Use the Force.
Gentlemen, it's a great honor for me to present you with these special awards.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
This is really an honor.
Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you deeply honored and just plain gobsmacked.
As you see, the costumes from Star Wars are really not so much costumes as a bit of plumbing and general automobile engineering.
I'd like to thank a great special effects crew and the Force for allowing me to be here tonight to receive this award.
There's one man whose name should be engraved on this above everybody else, and that's George Lucas.
First, I must thank George Lucas.
I'd like to, of course, thank George Lucas.
Thank you, George.
Congratulations, George Lucas, from the crew of Atlantis.
I'd like to thank the Academy members and the Board of Governors for this tremendous honor.
He is quite handsome, I suppose. Wait for me! R2, BB-8!
Yeah, there you go. So it's just
Nice.
just a funny little Oscars video that they put together there.
I really hope that if Mark Hamill was up for the Oscar and he lost, they would play the clip like, no, no.
Some ultra nerd insight into that. So the music that they played over that video is Mars from the Planet Suite by Gustav Holst, which is also what inspired the original Star Wars soundtrack.
Right. Of course, the main theme. You mean?
Yeah, the main theme.
Yeah.
So the actual song Mars is what's kind of like attributed to inspiring the actual like Imperial March.
Crazy
and stuff like that.
No, it's good that they used that then.
So that's my ultra deep nerd contribution.
Your insight. Yeah, there you go. Well,
they were just doing that symphony in Vancouver. Like it was, I think it was Tim who was mentioning it to us. I had never heard this before, and then when I listened to it, I was like, "Holy smokes!" Like there's so much, influence of this soundtrack. Yeah, give it a listen. Yeah, if you have.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, even a guy like John Williams has got to get inspiration from somewhere, right?
I think the suite is called The Planets, but Gustav Holst's The Planets.
Oh, okay.
It's literally every single planet has its own song. It's pretty cool.
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
Yeah. So Mars though, you can tell from the soundtrack. You're like, huh?
Yeah.
Like Imperial March, huh? Interesting.
That is interesting. Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, I'm not gonna.
Well, for me, I would say the Imperial March is mostly just an inspiration to play Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Oh man, yeah.
Oh jeez. Well, among other, say again.
I'll say it's funny because when we're driving down to see Phantom Menace downtown today, that just came up on the playlist on the drive, and I just started thinking about Camino. I'm like, why am I thinking about Camino? I'm like, oh, because of Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Among other companies celebrating Star Wars Day, Apple debuted a new commercial starring Star Wars fans. And StarWars.com writes, sometimes a Mandalorian can use a little help finding their clan. That's the story told in the new commercial from Apple and Lucasfilm for the iPhone 15 precision finding for the Find My Friends feature. And I'll just have it like kind of playing in the background. But it's directed by Kim Gehrig, debuting in time for Star Wars Day. And the clever spot follows a Mandalorian costumer played by real-life fan Owen as he journeys to meet up with his friends at a local con. He starts off the day by feeding his cat, Leia, and checking for the essentials. His keys, his phone, his thermal detonator, all that stuff. He's dressed like a Mandalorian, right? And before heading out, he picks up a boba tea, naturally, grabs the bus, uses his iPhone 15 to chat with and find his Mandalorian clan. And then finally, together, they share greetings and some in sync head bobs to the channel Trey's All My Friends, with the lyric whatever. There's a bunch of lyrics in there. Anyway, 501st Legion fan group all were taking part of this commercial. There was a whole bunch of people involved with 501st that was in this video. And it's just kind of funny. Lucasfilm received over 300 submissions for the spot, with a total of 172 fans becoming involved with the production, the largest ever for a project sanctioned by the company. And for Owen, it was an experience to remember, of course, because he's kind of the main guy, like just walking around the streets being shot by these cameras for this commercial. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, if you get a chance to look it up, it's definitely worth taking a look at.
Oh yeah, this does look really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty legit. It's like an official.
Oh my gosh, yeah, there's
commercial.
so many people in like awesome
costumes. Oh yeah, lots of people involved. I thought it was quite appropriate for him to use his Find My Friends feature on here because like it's basically like straight out of The Mandalorian where he's using his like bounty tracker thing to like find that alien guy.
That's right.
Like right in episode 1, I was like, dang, this is like so appropriately used. Like it's really genius marketing if you think about it. Because
I'm surprised they even needed to use that to find Star Wars fans.
Right.
Oh man,
I love.
Think they'd be a dime a dozen.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, in his defense, it's kind of hard to see out of the helmet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, and he's got his like phone and like the blaster sling.
That's pretty funny.
With precision finding.
That's actually cool.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. But I thought, like, man, like this has really gotten to like a whole new level with, you know, just kind of like what goes on Star Wars Day. Mark Hamill was even at the White House and spoke on YouTube. I'm not going to bother playing that, but I mean, like it's crazy to me, like just like how big this thing is kind of gets every year, you know. Game deals, should we get into that? I know we always make a joke about the merchandising.
Yep.
I mean, that's what all this is anyways, right?
That's what I'm here for.
Political, it's companies get in on it, you know, because it's just so big now,
Free
right? Like it's more of like a cultural thing. If you want people to vote for you, buy your stuff, you gotta do a May the 4th thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
Yeah. No, it's so true.
Before you do the list, I just gotta do a quick shout out for Phil, because I know Phil's favorite content in the podcast is all of our free advertising.
Oh yeah, he loves the free advertising.
What are we getting out of this?
I'm doing it. We're getting some Star Wars headlines. What we're getting out of it. It's not going to
merch. Come on, let's push our merch.
Come on.
It's not going to be as long as other
sale. May the 4th sale.
May the 4th sale. Yeah. Okay. So Star Wars Fortnite, and I do have actually, like, come to think of it, I do have an announcement to make about our own merch. So stay tuned and just for that. Yeah, exactly. But Star Wars Fortnite, that's a big thing. Any of you guys play Fortnite? I'm not a big Fortniter.
I've never once played Fortnite.
For my time.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, there's an original trilogy themed update now, so you can catch that on Fortnite. Star Wars Hunters is launching soon, June 4th. This is a mobile game that launches on iOS, Android, and Switch that I've been waiting for years. Like, I feel like it's been in like pre-register for ages now, so that's about to come out too, which is kind of cool. Yeah, Brawlhalla, that's something Star Wars events going on there. Outlaws, you guys looking forward to playing Star Wars Outlaws?
I am actually. I'm kind of like
yeah,
it's gonna be good. That one comes out what is it, at the end of August? Was it August 30th? I think it is.
I'm super interested. Yeah, just based on all the other like Ubisoft games.
Yeah,
I'm because that's who's developed it, right? They gave this
Ubisoft.
one to Ubisoft.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see how this one works out. It looks really good. I saw one of the gameplay demos. What was it, like 20 minutes long, 30 minutes long?
Yeah, something like that.
I will say I'm a little bit concerned.
Yeah,
with Ubisoft. I'm curious to see how it'll play out. But is it just going to be an Assassin's Creed reskin? I'm not sure. I feel like that's all they've done in the last 20 years.
Yeah, like, well, they kind of have.
Well, the new Assassin's Creeds have been really good, though.
I haven't played the latest.
Yeah, but they're all pretty similar, right?
Yeah, they have. Ubisoft has a system that they apply to all their games, so that's why I'm a little bit leery. Like, because it's always like, to unlock sections of the map, you got to go find like the tower. And so you got to they do it in the Far Cry games. They do it in all the Assassin's Creed games. It's like, you got to go climb the tower, unlock the section of the map, and you got to go, then you see all your quests and then you go do the quest. So I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see if it's
and like mechanically, all the buttons do the same thing, same fighting style, all that stuff. That's kind of what I was getting at too. Where it's just kind of, it's just going to be a Star Wars skin over every other Ubisoft game.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if it's fun, they'll play it. Like if it's
true. I mean, I'll give you that.
And they successfully do it, and it's fun, and they add some new stuff, and it works. Yeah, I'll do it.
I mean, that's fair. It worked for Shadows of Mordor. That was a great game. It was basically just Assassin's Creed. Yeah. So
I will say the last couple, like, they've converted Assassin's Creed into like an RPG kind of, or like a more RPG game. I think with like Origins and then Valhalla, and so what was the other one, like Odyssey or something. So I think there's the potential for them to do a really good job, because they've kind of been like slowly getting better at making like pretty good games. Because Valhalla was pretty good, but we shall see.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. Admittedly, the last one I played was, I found the second Brotherhood game to be kind of meh. Then I played what is Assassin's Creed 3, and I only got about 10% in. I got bored and I haven't touched them since.
Please tell me. Wait, so you never even played Black Flag?
I did not. That was the first one that came out, but I didn't buy.
You're killing me. That was like the pinnacle. Yeah, all the other ones were kind of like meh.
Yeah, people keep telling me that, but it's like, I don't know. I just never got around to it because I felt so burned by 3.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, 3, did you even get to the naval combat in 3?
No, I didn't.
Oh my gosh, you missed out on so much. This is so sad. I'm not even like, Yeah,
I loved 2, the original 2, like with Ezio, the first one. I loved that one. I just felt like everything after that was a step down.
Yeah, 4 was the pinnacle.
Oh, I did like the VR one at Josh's place. You got to slide around.
Oh my gosh. Okay, go play 4.
Well,
you'll feel bad.
Okay.
As far as games are concerned, it's between 50 and 90% off any Star Wars game that you can think of. So definitely,
which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, and that varies between the platforms, but whatever platform you're preferred to use, Steam, Nintendo Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, you name it.
Yeah.
GOG Games, Epic Games Store, Humble Bundle, all that stuff. Between May 1st and May 6th to the 12th, depending on the platform, there is major discounts on all those games right now. So that.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I was worried I would.
I just saw that Jedi Survivor was put on Xbox Game Pass, so I'm going to be playing that. Hopefully, I'm going to give it another shot.
Oh, it's so
nice.
good.
Since I couldn't get it to run on launch because the launch was pretty bad for PC.
Oh, yeah.
Is that better now, Josh? I think you were kind of
I'm
following
going to check it out.
There was definitely a lot of bugs when it first launched, but on PC.
Okay.
But I mean, I think they've maybe smoothed and glossed over like some of those a little bit, which is maybe good. But I mean,
because admittedly, since this podcast started, I bought that game.
Right.
It was good.
Like I literally bought it 10 minutes ago.
Good.
Because I was waiting for it to go on sale.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
What were you saying?
So, there's a PC version though, so
I was just saying it's a good investment. I got mine on PC. I had some major problems with that one. I think I griped about it to Josh like several times. But that was like literally on release.
It was getting worse all the time.
Literally. I think I accumulated an hour of playtime, but it never got even to the start menu because it kept crashing.
That was me too.
Yeah,
that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, this is pretty standard for PC.
Yeah.
You gotta wait till
crap version,
unless you have like a gasoline powered supercomputer, like usually the the people with like mid-tier machines. You just gotta wait till they actually
patch it all.
Stuff. Yeah,
right.
I figured by now it should be patched, right? Like a year ago
they released tons of big patches like periodically since its release.
Okay.
Because I got it working, so there was a fix for it in spite of that weird crashing. And then I got it working and played through the whole game. I don't really have like a very high tiers graphics card. I can't. It's a Radeon or RTX something. I don't even remember what it is. It's not that high tier, so I kind of had to drop the graphics a little bit from like what I normally do just to keep it at like a healthy 30 FPS. But other than that, it was like awesome. I didn't feel like there were tons of like game breaking bugs. It was just like that main thing of like performance and then actually starting the game, which is very frustrating. I could not believe I accumulated over an hour without actually playing the game at all. It was just the initial loading and then it crashed.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
For me,
I had issues with the first game too, but my PC was pretty old as well when that one came out. I would die.
Yeah.
I would die during the cutscene. Like the cutscene would run and then it would like end and my guy would just have like the game over screen. I'm like, what is happening?
That's super weird.
It was always at the end of the first level.
That sucks.
See, I never had any problems with the first one. I don't think any, like maybe it crashed like once or twice, but the newest one, it's major performance, but still a phenomenal game.
One thing's for sure, that sure do love EA. They make the best games.
They totally haven't ruined a single Star Wars game that they've been given. Or wait, is it the opposite?
They eventually figure it out. They just have rough start. I was say
it's always a rough start. Like, here, we'll give it to you like half baked, and then we'll cook it.
We'll let you find the bugs.
We'll let you find.
Instead of paying, we'll let you find the bugs and we'll patch it out.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I guess that's not just them anymore. It's kind of across the board. Games aren't what they used to be.
Yeah.
Do they even use game testers anymore? Is that even a job? It used to be back in the day.
It is.
Yeah. I don't think they games now are so much like bigger,
more complicated.
Too, I feel and more complicated. And I think the thing I had come to kind of accept, I guess, is that like a lot of the games aren't like the companies are run like businesses. They're not run like as artists. They're run like CEOs and business reps. And so they're like, oh, we got deadlines. Like,
publicly traded companies. Yeah.
So they can't like explain. Yeah. A CEO can't like explain like art or whatever to some dude that's like a big investor. They're just like, yeah, where's my, like, we have deadlines. Why is this not, you're not giving me my money when I
hear you. Yeah. It's funny just to see where it's at now compared to like back in the day. Like I just think Halo 2, for example.
Yeah.
Halo 2, they actually lost the original game. Like they had a massive server crash and they lost the entire game. And they had to rebuild it from scratch after it was basically done. That's why there's a huge time gap between Halo 1 and Halo 2.
Oh, I had no idea. That's wild.
Yeah,
That's
and
crazy.
You could imagine anything like that happening now, right? Like it's just a small independent company, and to them, it wasn't about the cash. They wanted to make like a really good game, and they wanted to make a sequel to this huge hit of a game, right? I mean, I guess Microsoft was kind of riding on it, but the fact that Microsoft like gave them that extra 2 or 3 years they needed to basically start from scratch, and they rewrote. They didn't just rebuild it; they changed the story, which then led into Halo 3, because Halo 2 originally was more or less an end of the story.
That's wild. You know what's actually, that reminded me of a game that almost had something like that happen was, you guys ever play No Man's Sky?
Oh, I heard of it.
I've seen a documentary on it, because I believe there's a lot of drama around that.
Yeah, so that at some point, apparently that's what they had happen, because they, long story short, promised a lot of things. And then there was like flooding or something like that, and they're a pretty small studio, and they lost a bunch.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, but I guess there's so much hype around it. Yeah, they just kind of like pushed out their product, and then it wasn't what they.
And it was like janky, right? And everyone was like, "What?" And I believe it took a few years later, and they actually got it to be a really good game.
Yeah, I think I have it now. I've like barely played it, and it seems like an okay game, but
yeah, we should probably talk about Star Wars.
Hopefully Outlaws. Hopefully Star Wars Outlaws is a good game.
I got three more things to highlight real quick. I don't know if you guys knew, but today they launched the news that they would be finally releasing a physical Dejark board. So the pieces,
what?
Yes,
with holograms.
Yes, so the pieces are translucent and they light up when you put them on the board. So they're all like,
cool.
Yeah, it's very, very cool.
That's
and I'm gonna put a link to it in the in our we got like a merchandising thread in our Discord server under the general
merchandising.
Yeah,
where the real money from the movie is made.
There you go. That's right. They also are releasing a 187th Clone Trooper. So any fans of Mace Windu, you can get, basically it's just a reskinned Black Series, but it's exclusive to the Disney Store, which is kind of cool.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, lots of stuff. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of announcing all this stuff, but anyways, I do have like one one really important thing though is our own merch. So a friend of mine, he's got a sticker company. It's called East Post Sticker Company, and you can find it with the URL EastPostSC.etsy.com. He's been to a lot of the local expos here around Vancouver. He sells like high quality stickers. The one on the back of my phone case is so good. Like it's been on there for like, I don't know, just under a year, but it's like, it's not
hardy, right?
Like, yeah,
they're really like
very weatherproof,
damage proof.
Yeah, very damage proof, very weatherproof. Really nice seal, doesn't just fade off and come off kind of thing. So you can get our Escape Pod logos. We got either the Bad Batch logo, the Ahsoka Escape Pod logo, the regular logo, and the Lightspeed logo. And these are the icons that you'll find as album artwork on like Spotify if you like tune into one of those episodes. So if you use the code all caps one word Escape Pod at East Post Sticker Company sticker shop, you get one of 4 random logo stickers and 10% off your order. So just throwing that out there. May the 4th be with you. And shout out to Wyatt, who's helping us out with that. And so yeah, go check it out. I'm gonna leave a description in the link in the description below. In this podcast episode, so people can check it out. But super high quality stickers. He gets them made in Europe and shipped over here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they get printed out in Europe and shipped over here and stuff. It's a whole thing, but they're good quality stickers.
Sick. Yeah, I was actually thinking about truck stickers to put on my canopy when I get it. So
there you go.
I got a sick news. Get a couple sick news stickers to throw in there.
Very, very weatherproof. Yeah. So there you go. Okay. So yeah, welcome to the Halo podcast. Thank you for the note, Bryce.
Okay. I feel like we went down a deeper Assassin's Creed rabbit hole for a minute there.
Definitely. Well, thanks to Kyle at ALKY Solutions, we have the inside word. Just a heads up, he is now rebranding to ALKY Sabers, and with that comes
really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Very good idea.
Yeah. With that comes the rebranding of a new logo and everything like that. So you'll see the new logo popping up soon. And I think, where is he currently, Blake? I forget. Was he just at Calgary, or is he at Calgary right now? I think
he's in Fort St. John.
Fort St. John. Right. Thank you. Yeah. There's a convention happening right now in Fort St. John. He's there this weekend selling lightsabers. This episode drops I'm going to drop it as soon as possible. So people still tuning in on Sunday and Monday. I don't know. It might still be going on if anyone is in Fort St. John.
Can you just say Calgary again for me?
Calgary?
I'm pretty sure you said Calgary.
Did I say Calgary?
You said Calgary. Well, now I'm curious.
It's spelled Calgary, but Calgary. People from Calgary call it Calgary.
Calgary, yeah.
Calgary.
That's the Canadian
I'm
way
sorry,
of
I just
saying
thought
it.
that was
One word.
funny, and then I was curious.
One syllable.
Yeah, Calgary. Yeah,
Calgary.
Two.
I bet the local Calgarians will.
Calgarians. Yeah,
is that what they're called? Calgarians.
Yes.
Calgary. So they're Garyans. They're Garys. Okay.
And who are people from Edmonton? Edmontonites.
Edmontonians.
Edmontonians.
Yeah,
Okay.
I knew that.
We're Vancouverites.
I'm not.
And then,
Calgary was founded by two brothers, Cal and Gary, and Edmonton was founded by two brothers, Ed and Tony.
Oh man,
Yeah.
well,
You know what I am now, though? I'm a Terran.
you're a Terran. Yeah.
I'm a
that's
Terran.
right.
Yeah.
Arantonian.
Well, shout out to Kyle and Alex from ALKY. Spreading the word about our podcast at the conventions. We've had some people pop into our Discord server over the weekend, so I assume that that those joining are probably located in Fort St. John right now. So hello to you guys. And we still have some videos from fans from Newfoundland to actually to hear what they have to say about some things. Yeah, so we're gonna play a few more this week. We'll get through 3 or 4 more, and then we'll shift gears again and save a few more for next week.
Hi, I'm here with Blair. All right, Blair, what is your favorite Star Wars movie? And what's one thing that you'd change to make it different or better?
Oh, wow. I was always a sucker for the originals.
Okay. All right, I'm here with.
It's my favorite.
Nice.
I had to go with Revenge of the Sith for my second favorite, though. That's a close. What would I change? Damn. That's a good question.
I know, I know. And Josh actually came up with these questions. So this is Josh from the Star Wars Escape Pod.
Damn you, Josh, for making me think hard. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what I would want to change. Kind of on the spot now.
That's okay. That's okay. If there's nothing that you'd like to change, that just means they made a good movie.
I mean, a little less Ewoks, maybe.
That's actually a good one. A little less Ewoks, man.
All right. Well, thanks. Thank you, Blair, for that. What?
Poor Ewoks.
Blake, what are your thoughts on the Ewoks for Return of the Jedi?
It's tough because I do feel like, they're iconic now, right? Because they're part of the history of Star Wars. But I also understand the perspective of the fans at the time that were like, why are these teddy bears in our sci-fi action series?
Right.
Because it is a pretty drastic change of tone from Empire Strikes Back. So I totally get that.
Yes, this is pretty big. We went from Wampas to Ewoks. It's a big jump.
Yeah, but Wampas being 60% of the finale of the series.
Yeah, but
so I get that. I totally get that.
Yeah,
I think we should all be pretty good at accepting this sort of thing in Star Wars at this point, because I think the people were upset about Ewoks, and then the next generation was like, I don't understand why they're so upset. It's kind of good. And then we got hit with Phantom Menace, and they're like, what the heck is Jar Jar Binks?
What is that?
And the Ewok people were like, we told you. Now you know.
I know.
Welcome.
And then
Join
we're
us.
Cool about Jar Jar, and then we get porgs, and we're upset again. It just repeats.
I know Dan.
It's a cycle.
I know Dan is in the boat of no Ewoks. I'm pretty sure. I think if you ask Dan about it, he'd be like, no Ewoks.
Part of it is also just the fact that George, my understanding is when George had originally planned it, there were supposed to be Wookiees, but they couldn't find a way to do it on budget, so they switched to Ewoks.
What a downgrade.
Wow.
I know.
Why is that? Or just
literally
Wookiees. But that's why the Wookiees were on Kashyyyk in the prequels, because he could finally do it.
But then you get things like, you get that whole merchandising, okay, let's try and capitalize on the Ewoks, and they made 2 live action TV movies and an animated series for the Ewoks.
Sure, and this is all down the road, but
Right.
I think the original writing was supposed to be Wookiees, which I feel like would have had a lot more serious of a tone.
Yeah.
You know how hard it would be to find like 30 Peter, the guy who plays like Chewbacca?
Peter Mayhew? Yeah.
Peter Mayhew. Right? Like,
Yeah.
it's probably way easier to find like 40 short people to play Chewbacca.
I see what you're saying.
That was the decision.
Well, I don't know. You could just hire an entire basketball
Yeah,
team
an NBA
from
team
the
or
NBA.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
That'd be like just huge Ewok dunking on stormtroopers.
That'd be pretty sweet, actually. I love to see all these stormtroopers getting their arms ripped off.
Yeah. Thanks, Blair, for that question. We'll take a listen to the next one here.
Here with?
I'm Nathan Sparks.
So I'm here with Nathan. Now, Nathan, the Empire has come. Your planet is now under the Imperial. Now, do you choose the Rebellion, or are you going to join the Imperial Academy?
Oh well, I gotta go and with the Rebellion. I can't stand the evil in the
That's
world.
right. That's right.
Oh, yeah,
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Rebellion all the way.
All right. Thanks, Kyle. And what would you guys choose? I don't know. Empire comes to your planet, your home planet. Do you just go with the flow? With the, or do you take up the rebellion way?
Crush the rebel scum.
Yeah, you're an Imperial man.
Well, depends how much nuance you want to look into, because it was funny. I was just watching New Hope the other day, and it reminded me like Luke was planning to join the Empire by the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of funny how fast they gloss over that. Like, I was going to go to the academy or whatever. he says.
That's the thing, right?
And the Imperial Academy to be a pilot. That was his plan.
That's the
That's
thing.
just like joining the Air Force, and then you decide you want to be a terrorist instead.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, it's all a matter of perspective. Like, when we watch the movies, like we're of the perspective that the rebels are the good guys, but with just your average farmer schmo who's like, has got nothing better to live for, it's like, okay, government comes to your world offering you money and a better life, and he and a bunch of friends are all kind of like, yeah, we'll just go with the flow, right? Like, for him it's a normal thing to do for someone his age to go to the academy. And even Solo,
It's an easy way to just get off this barren rock that he's been
totally
forced to live on.
It's and the way that he presents himself to Obi-Wan Kenobi when he asks about it is like, well, I don't like the Empire, but what can I do about it, right? Like, he's just kind of the mindset. Like, it's like, well, what can anyone do, right? And I think that's where a show like Andor comes in and really puts this new layer of emotion over top of that mindset, and going like, look, there's people that have been extremely negatively affected. Not people like Luke, maybe, who lives way in the Outer Rim where the Empire is barely present, but people on other worlds where their villages have been destroyed. And it's not until he sees the corpses of his aunt and uncle burning on the ground where he's really he's angry. And then that's that's the switch that flicks, and he's like, okay, I want to learn the ways of the Force and become a Jedi like my father. And he's like, no, screw the Empire at this point. And he doesn't say that, but it's like you can tell that's when he changes his mind.
Yeah. It's cool that you actually bring up Andor, because when you think about it, like from the original movies, it's like how many times, like other than like the destruction of Alderaan, where we don't actually see like it's not very like personal. You just see like a whole planet explode, which is like terrible. But you don't really actually see like how the Empire is like evil, I guess, except other than like when they torch Luke's home or whatever. And
then uncle, and
his uncle. But other than that, there's not like a lot of like really like personal, like relatable events where you're like, the Empire's evil. It's just kind of like, they blew up a planet and a lot of people died and then some other people died. So yeah, they're evil. Let's go. Let's get them. But like with Andor, they actually did do a really good job of being like, hey, like they're not cool. They're not cool. They hurt people.
What would you pick, Bryce? Empire comes to your home world. You know, what do you do?
Leave. I don't know, man. I'm getting the first ticket off there. I'm going to the Outer Rim. I don't know. I'll live the lonely farmer life, right? Like,
dude, it's so hard to say.
Farmer,
like,
all that moisture.
You know, it's kind of like Empire gets defeated, just on to the next thing, right? Like I know that's not the question. I mean, I'm choosing Rebel for sure. If I'm taking the answer seriously, I'm a Rebel for sure. I think I've changed a little bit over time. I think I used to be raw Empire, but I like it. Being a good guy is pretty fun. I like it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sounds
like depends how meta you want to be. Because I feel like
yeah.
I feel like anyone who's a fan who watched the series understands what's going on. So like, oh, Rebel. But if you were someone in the universe, I think that'd actually be a significantly harder decision.
Oh yeah,
definitely,
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, look at what's his name? What's his name? Who gives the whole monologue? Luthen. Is it Luthen in Andor?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Luthen Rail. And he's like painting this picture of like his life is on the line every day. Look what he's had to have given up for this movement, right?
Yeah,
that's a good point.
His family and stuff, and
yeah, totally.
That's what I mean. If I'm answering this like meta, this is me in the universe. Like, I'm giving up the Rebels instantly. Like, you don't even have to interrogate me. Man. I will. Like, don't hurt me at all. I'll give it all up.
I'll give you everything you need to know.
Yeah. I think I'm with you there. I mean, I'd love to think that I'd be part of the Rebels, but at the same time, like realistically, probably not.
Yeah.
I don't know. Inferno Squad all the way. Death before dishonor.
Oh man. All right, here. Let's take a listen to one more.
I'm here with
Showrub.
Say that again.
Showrub.
Showrub?
Yeah.
That's a neat name. All right. So, what color lightsaber, if you had to pick one, what color lightsaber would it be and why?
I would go for maybe a red one.
Oh, well, we all know why it's red, so you're evil. All right. Thank you very much.
All right, cool. Well, thanks, Showrub. I know, Blake, you and I have talked about it extensively as to what we would have, which I think is blue, but I don't think I've asked this
Arctic blue specifically.
Yeah,
Arctic blue.
Arctic blue. Yes. But Bryce and Ried, we'll start with you, Bryce. What's your preferred color now? I mean, now that you also got an ALKY Cyber now, a Pixel. Like, what do you keep it on?
I mean, mine's got like a fucking like a rainbow setting on it, so I can go crazy.
Is it just because the setting got stuck, or is that a preference?
No. It always takes me off guard when it comes on. It reminds me of like the sabers you used to have as a kid. They were like off-brand. They weren't Star Wars at all, right? But they'd have like crazy sound effects and be like, pew, pew, pew. Right? They'd be so crazy. But I'm a Luke Skywalker green. I like that one.
Nice. Awesome. Sweet.
What about you, Ried? What about you? I mean, I think we know your answer.
Yeah, maybe. What is it, Ried?
What are you?
My answer is actually purple, just for the sake of being different.
Oh, well then I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think that Mace Windu is still alive or not? And here's a secondary thing to just consider. There's a difference between wanting him back and thinking that he survived. So just keep that in mind. But do you think he survived?
Okay.
Survived in episode 3.
In episode 3.
Palpatine, to be specific. Yeah.
So I mean, I want him to survive, but I don't think he did.
Right. Okay. All right. Cool. I just had to ask.
He did.
This party's over.
He did.
Yeah. He cooked.
And I'm taking his lightsaber.
That crystal's mine.
Yeah.
That's why he's staying dead.
Yeah.
It's mine.
Pretty much.
That saber's mine.
Because I don't know. It's heartbreaking because like Darth Maul came back, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was cut in half.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Freaking Maul or Mace Windu just got a little little jolt of extra electricity.
So let me be completely honest with you, Ried. So this has been a debate on the last handful of podcasts.
The last 2 or 3, yeah.
And we actually timed. He got shocked for like roughly a minute straight.
It was like
before he gets
seconds.
thrown off.
It was like 30 seconds.
It was pretty intense.
Lightning. Yeah,
and solid lightning. Yeah.
And then he gets knocked out the window, and and then it's like, okay, how is he gonna survive?
But is he?
And we calculated the average height of a building in Coruscant, how long he would have to try to regain consciousness for hitting the ground. It's very unlikely, but he's a Jedi, so...
Well, you don't know. There could have been, like, could have been going down a lot of levels, man.
Well,
like, even going terminal velocities, that's a long way down.
See, since we've had this initial debate, which has been an ongoing thing for many years, George Lucas has actually come back and made changes to his movies again. And I'm just going to play a little scene here, which is of the latest version of Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
What have I done?
There you go.
Okay.
This is the new version.
Revenge of the Sith Special
sold.
Edition.
Yeah, Revenge of the Windu.
Yeah, that settles that.
I would pay top dollar for that movie. That would be great.
Oh man. Okay. I got
So good.
one more thing to bring up here, and then we'll transition over to the Bad Batch. And I think Bryce, you haven't seen the full thing, and neither have you, Ried. So we'll pause it for a brief moment before we transition. But I just have one more thing to bring up. I recently got myself a 4K Blu-ray player. And as some of you know, I've got all these lovely steel books that I collect, and recently I just acquired Obi-Wan and Andor Season 1 on Steelbook as well, which are now released as of this past week. And I've been going through all the bonus features on a lot of these discs, right? So recently I went through bonus features on The Rise of Skywalker, The Last Jedi. I still have yet to get around to Force Awakens bonus features, but they're super awesome to see. I have my thoughts on the movies, but I love the behind-the-scenes featurettes that they do on these things. And I had to record some stuff from just something from The Last Jedi bonus features that I thought was very, very interesting. Let me just, I'll just play you a little, just like a little piece here. All right.
Mark very understandably wasn't thrilled about some of the choices in the script. The big things being the place that Luke's head is at, the fact that he's not the Luke Skywalker that we knew, and frankly the fact that he dies at the end. Let's go up and take a look at your hut real quick, I guess. Then it was just a matter of really being honest with myself. Like, is that what's best for this trilogy? Is that what should happen here? And just questioning that over and over again.
And then here's just another section here.
Right, is anybody not ready?
It's an interesting thing because, you have your own view of how your character should be and how he should be utilized. My character always represented hope and optimism, and now here I am, very pessimistic and disillusioned and sort of demoralized. No matter how this comes out, if I'm wonderful, it's because of him. And if it's terrible, it's also his fault.
So I grabbed that from some of the behind the scenes on The Last Jedi, and I just thought I would have to play it because we haven't really talked too much about The Last Jedi extensively, and not that I want to linger on it, but I just had to play that for you guys, and I was wondering, like, if George Lucas had his way and did the sequel films his way, the general consensus of has been, at least from what I've read and what I've discovered, is that George would have probably killed Luke Skywalker, but in Episode 9. And just in general, though, where they took the character, like how Rian Johnson views Luke Skywalker versus Mark Hamill's take on not changing where they took that character in Episode 6. Like, I don't know, maybe Bryce, do you have any? We can start with you. Like, what are your thoughts? Like, just hearing Ryan's take, Mark's take, and then just your own personal opinion on the character.
My thoughts on that is, it's like I would dread. That's like a nightmare scenario, right? Like, if you're Dave Filoni, to be like,
yeah,
you don't have the ultimate power that like George Lucas has. So you do have to bend the knee to the powers that be, and I feel like he probably has a lot of thoughts on that. that he probably can't share. So it's like very interesting to hear that clip, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, that's Rian Johnson talking. That's right.
That's Rian Johnson.
Yeah.
Talking.
Does that sound like
Rian Johnson, the director of episodes?
I guess when you think about it, it does sound a little bit like Dave, doesn't it?
I thought he sounded a little like Dave, but anyways, the same thing applies. I could only assume that maybe Dave feels the same way a little bit, but the fact that Rian Johnson's saying that, I think it's the same kind of thing, right? Your hands are tied to a certain point, and I also understand where Hamill's coming from too. And I
feel like they gave the directors complete creative freedom to do what they wanted. I feel like he had complete control on that.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, for sure. And I don't know. Reed, you got any thoughts on Luke?
Yeah, both those clips are just like weird to me because it's part of the bonus features you said, right?
Yeah.
For
Last Jedi.
Last Jedi?
Yeah, Last Jedi.
Okay, so the worst one. Interesting. So it's just like it's so weird though, because it's like they made the movie and you're saying they had complete freedom, more or less. Is that what you were saying? Like did they have complete freedom, like in terms of how they made the movie or directed?
Yeah, I feel like it definitely comes across that way, that the directors had a lot of freedom to do what they wanted.
Yeah.
And Rian Johnson actually is the script writer and director of this film.
Okay, so it's his fault. Cool. Yeah, I just think it's super weird. Like it's really sus because like it's in their bonus feature for like Disney produced this movie, and this is the movie that they wanted because that's like it wasn't well received because it sucked, but they make a bonus feature where they're basically like playing like sad music, like somebody just died, and you're like, and it's you're right, something did die. It's like my hopes and dreams in the future of Star Wars.
Right. I think Mark would agree. Yeah.
I'm like, why are they like playing this like sad thing as if this is something they never foresaw happening? Like they made the movie they made sucked. Like I'm sorry, I'm sorry, because I think didn't we do like a whole podcast episode about like why pretty much we like hated the new movies?
We did some bits. We did some bits as to like
we've
sort
gone
of
down
what
that
we
rabbit
did.
hole.
Like what we haven't liked as far as story direction goes. I mean,
it's kind of like Mark Hamill. I kind of understand him being remorseful because he's the actor. He doesn't like. He signs the contract, and then if he doesn't read it, that's kind of like his whatchamacallit's fault, like his agent or whatever, whoever they get to negotiate that. Like I understand, like from a creative like standpoint, like Mark, like I can understand why he's so bitter and upset because what they did to him sucks. Because they basically were like, yeah, we're gonna make like these 3 amazing new movies, and then they signed him on, and then he can't, because typical non-disclosure, you can't talk about any of it. So then it's like, oh cool, yeah, you're gonna show up in the first movie, and then for like what, like a couple minutes, if that, like, and then you're just gonna be like cranky and miserable for the next one, and then you're basically gonna do nothing and die.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. Blake, what are your opinions on hearing those pieces of audio there?
I think it sheds a lot of light that they really didn't know if they're making the right decision or not, of how to treat Luke, because he's such an iconic character. And I think it's a really tough thing to do because you want to do something new and fresh, and you want to add something that the audience doesn't expect. And at the same time, you're playing with these characters that are so iconic. So I think it just really sheds a light into the creative process of kind of what we're looking at. What happened.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the first thing that came to mind for me too, was hearing Rian Johnson sort of go like, is this the best thing for this trilogy? Is this the best thing to do with the character? Because like the first movie, you got to consider like the first movie in the trilogy sets it up that Luke is miserable looking when we see him, and he's on an island in the middle of nowhere, and no one's been able to find him for years, right? So like, what happened? Why is he there? Why hasn't he shown his face to this evil that's rising in the galaxy? So the setup was already there. It was just a process of like, is this the best way to go about why he's there? What to do with this character in this trilogy? It's my responsibility now to carry that torch that's been set up already. So I mean, really, obviously it's like, it's a testament to say about Force Awakens as well and how that movie ended. But I mean, as far as like his questioning to the documentary, this is all filmed as they were, through the whole production. It's a full like hour and a half, 2 hour long documentary. And it was so fascinating because it was like, man, like you see people thinking in live time, they're wired up with mics like constantly to capture these moments. And so like when I saw that and saw him talking, like it was like, wow, this is coming so naturally. Like he's questioning his own big decision in the script as they're making the movie. And I guess it's just one of those things. It's like, this is a historical thing in Star Wars to like take a legacy character like that and make the conscious decision to kill them off. Is this serving the story correctly for the next movie, right? Is it going to set up the next one to the best of its ability? And at that time, you got to keep in mind, like Carrie Fisher was still alive. Colin Trevorrow was still working on episode 9 at that point. There's a lot of factors in play, with that decision that was made. But yeah, I mean, it's a subject we could go on detail for a long time. But I just wanted to bring up those clips and us reminisce. I feel like a lot of us tend to like try and forget and move on from these Star Wars movies. But
to me, it's just like Disney's just kind of trying to cover their tracks. They're like, oh, we're sorry. It's like, no, you're not.
Well, that's what I mean. Like along the lines of what you said, I'm like, it is so weird for a company to backtrack, right? And like usually they just die on that hill, right? Like, nah, but it's so weird that Disney's like, we want you to feel sympathy for our like bad decision making.
Yeah, they're like, it's like they're trying to create this like this boogeyman, like, oh, we didn't know it was like, oh, the powers that be, like, oh, they made us do all this stuff. It's like, well, you kind of knew, like, you knew what you did. Like they've gone to the length of producing this bonus feature and putting it into their like DVD or Blu-ray or whatever to to be like, we're sorry. No, you're not. You know what you did.
Oh man, on a slightly more upbeat thing, I'm just gonna ask you guys real quick, like Bryce, Ried, do you guys want to stick around for the Bad Batch finale after show, or you do? Okay, yeah. What about you, Bryce? Are we gonna exit you out?
I think I'm gonna head out.
Okay,
yeah,
right.
I don't want to spoil them.
Also,
I still have to watch.
Well, let's talk Phantom Menace first, then.
Yeah, I'll start off then with the question of Phantom Menace, and then we'll exit you out here. But we watched the 25th anniversary in one of 5 movie theaters in Canada that were screening the Phantom Menace for the second time in 25 years. The third time. The second time being the re-release for 3D, which was a short-lived thing before Disney bought Lucasfilm and canceled all the other 3D re-releases. But this one is just a standard 2D re-release of the film. The version that you can watch on Disney Plus, that is, with CG Yoda and all that. And it was pretty awesome. We saw an ALKY special look at the end of it, which is pretty cool. We went with a bunch of people.
Talk about that, yeah.
Yeah. So Bryce, how did you like seeing it? Again in theaters? Because I think did you say that you went to the '99 release and the 3D release?
Yeah, I guess I've been hitting them all up. Yeah, I don't really remember seeing it when I was a kid. I remember liking it. I remember getting toys from McDonald's, like the big. I remember I had the bongo, and I had the big goober fish, and I just and I would just,
that's a good combo.
Remember just being in like the bathtub, being like it had the big goober fish, and it was great. This time around, just as good. Still playing in the bathtub, still with the toys.
Nice.
Awesome.
But yeah, no, I had a great time. I think I always love seeing Star Wars in the theaters. It's like kind of like magical. Kind of brings it back for me.
Yeah. For sure.
It's definitely different than watching at home.
Yeah. It was funny seeing, kids that, weren't even born, during, at that point, and they were in the theaters watching it.
Yeah.
And almost, there was some kids in front of me who I don't even know why they're there. Maybe just something to do on the Friday because they were just talking the whole time.
Oh, damn. That's too bad.
I almost pushed them down the pit with Darth Maul.
No respect. Yeah.
No respect. No, they were talking while Qui-Gon Jinn was being burned.
What?
I was like,
no.
So
way.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Dude,
can't believe it.
Like, honor the dead.
Yeah. How did you like it, Blake?
Man, pretty similar to you. So I did see it in the original release, and then I did see the 3D release as well. And man, there's something different about seeing it in the theaters.
Yeah.
It takes you back there, back to that time. I was kind of thinking about it while I was watching the show, and I don't know if it's just the sound quality or just the immersion of it, seeing it on the big screen. But just a different experience. To me, it was very.
It's like such a grand thing. It just deserves to be viewed with a bunch of other people on a giant screen.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Like, I don't know. I just enjoyed the entire thing, and it just made me pretty nostalgic. And I started thinking about all like that time period when it came out, and just have so many fond memories. You know, we're all '90s kids, so
yeah.
Just just remembering all the Legos I got, and just of that age, the thing I remember the most was around Phantom Menace. I don't remember Attack of the Clones as much. I remember just getting all the Star Wars Legos for Phantom Menace and all the just all the merch and everything. It was a big push at the time. I mean, there was a huge lead up, right? Because it's been 30 years or whatever since Return of the Jedi came out, so. Yeah, it's very fond in my memory. So seeing it again in the theaters just kind of brought that all back. It was really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, what about you, Ried?
Yeah, man, I loved it. This was actually the first time I've ever seen it in theaters.
Yeah, same. I never went to the 3D release. I just didn't bother.
Yeah, I never did the 3D release. So it's just super fun seeing it in theaters because it's just an awesome experience because it's already nice too because it's not as risky necessarily as going to see like a new movie that you haven't seen before. You're like, oh, I've seen this movie so many times, all the way back to the good old VHS with the scrambly looking TV screen or whatever. And so it's just so awesome because I mean we all went like we pretty much had a whole row to ourselves almost.
Yeah.
And then it's just an awesome experience. It's so cool. Yeah, it's just super satisfying, super cool. Yeah, very nostalgic too and stuff. Because I never it's kind of funny. I don't want to speak for you guys, but I know like growing up for me, like I never disliked the Phantom Menace in any way really, because I didn't really know any better. Like I grew up with that movie, and so I've kind of just always loved it. And it kind of is like a pretty like good movie for like. I know.
I think so too. Yeah.
People don't like Jar Jar Binks, which is like whatever. But I kind of just loved the whole movie. Honestly,
Phantom Menace is just so weird because it was at this era where it really was the transition point between old cinema and new cinema, the digital, as it really took off with Attack of the Clones, right? And watching it, I felt so many 90s film nostalgia hits, just kind of the way it's edited and even some of the music cues and stuff. And then I feel like a lot of that, as it switched to digital, everything became so streamlined and over, to use the industry term, over composited and like the way it's lit and everything. And it feels like there's such a difference before and after. And even just between Attack of the Clones and between Attack of the Clones and Phantom Menace, you can just see such a difference. To me, Phantom Menace has just aged the best. And so, like you're saying, there was that point in time where it became cool to kind of like poop on it a little bit, to poodoo on Phantom Menace. But to me, it's kind of come full circle. I would say of the prequels, it's probably my favorite. Yeah. Undoubtedly, it's my favorite.
Well, I think Josh and I talked about this earlier because I said the Duel of the Fates is probably my top 3. I would even say it's like my number 2 favorite lightsaber duel across all of Star Wars. So I'm kind of curious what you guys.
It is definitely one of the best. Yeah, absolutely.
It's very good.
It's
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to. I mean, like the Obi-Wan and Anakin duel, as far as epic in its own way, and so is Yoda versus Sidious in its own way. But there is something so awesome about seeing like 3 people all fight each other at once with the most insane choreography.
Yeah,
that's something that is unique to the Phantom Menace.
Yeah. And we talked. I think we kind of dove in a little bit too on the drive back here, like how like prophetic it is too.
Yeah,
like why it's called the Duel of the Fates. I didn't even understand why it was called the Duel of the Fates, and then you basically explained it to me.
Yeah, I'm just reiterating kind of how Dave Filoni explains it in some of the Mandalorian behind the scenes when they start talking about some of that, or maybe it was behind the scenes of Book of Boba or something. But yeah, it's really fascinating stuff, and what a masterfully put together film, and to see that on the big screen again, the screen that it was made for, right, it is something special. And I think in my youthful naivety, who had seen Phantom Menace probably 100 times plus, 3D release came out. I was like, nah, I just don't want to bother, right? But
Yeah.
pay $20 to see a movie I own on DVD at that point and seen a bunch of times.
Yeah,
So I was like,
yeah.
whatever. But
Yeah,
now I'm just like, you know what? It's the 25th anniversary. Since Disney's bought the company, they haven't re-released any of these movies in the theater. So it was like, yeah, you know what? Let's do this. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
it
down.
was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool to see the
awesome.
celebration. They'd redone a whole. There's a beautiful new poster out there done by an artist that
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, and it's awesome. It was the one that you saw when you walked in the door.
Oh, okay.
And then, not to mention the Acolyte sneak peek at the end.
That was
we took a look at the first trailer again. Although as of today, May the 4th, there's a new trailer online that you can watch. But we got a really good look at some of the martial arts that are going to be in the Acolyte in the very tail end of the High Republic era with what was her name, Carrie-Anne Moss from The Matrix. She plays a Jedi Master.
That's who that was.
Yeah.
I was trying to think. I was like, I know that face. Who is that actress?
Yeah,
And
so
that's
cool.
who it is. That's pretty sick.
So super awesome to see that the insane choreography is coming back. And I think the showrunner had the guts to say that they're going to have the next new best lightsaber duel that's going to top that of the Phantom Menace, which is a bold statement to make.
That's
very bold.
Yeah, that's very bold.
Very bold, but we'll see. We'll see.
Dang.
Yeah. Well,
I got a question for you guys.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, just because of, I feel like there's a couple jumping points to why it never happened, but mainly just due to era and then George selling the franchise. It makes me wonder: do you think, and would you have wanted to see a Phantom Menace special edition or any of the prequels?
Like a director's cut, or?
No. Similar to how George kind of went in and redid, quote unquote,
the original.
Redid the effects of the original trilogy. Yeah, as the era had gone on. Because I understand specifically the original trilogy, he was limited with technology at the time, so he wanted to go back in and update to what he had originally envisioned. Whereas during the prequels, I feel like he had the capability to do that. But it did make me wonder what George, if given the opportunity, what he would have wanted to change.
Right. Yeah. I mean, with the re-releases on Blu-ray and all that, he did make some minor changes to those movies. The CG Yoda was a big one. They replaced that awful looking puppet.
Crack Yoda. Yeah.
Crackhead Yoda. Yeah.
I guess I would have been okay with it. Yeah. It's not like because I would rather they make those minor changes to make the movie age better than try to redo the movie.
Add some Ewok blinking.
Yeah, I would be the day that Disney decides to redo the original trilogy. I think I'm gonna be cranky. That's gonna be oof. That'll be a tough one.
Nice. Well, it wouldn't be a Star Wars day without at least one set of trivia. So, Bryce, before we exit you out, I'm gonna run you through one entire card of Star Wars. Normally we play Star Wars Ultimate Trivia, which is our own custom, tailor-made thing. But I just got the Star Wars Trivia Pursuit game in front of me here, so I'll just pick a card at random here. Okay, all right. Here's question 1 out of 6. Which species are the 3 aliens seated outside the entrance to the Mos Eisley Cantina? It's a singular species, but there's 3 aliens all seated together outside the entrance. What species is it? Outside the Mos Eisley Cantina.
In A New Hope?
In A New Hope, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I don't even
Someone gonna help him out?
Dang.
Wait, outshot Cantina? As you walk in?
Yeah, exactly.
Is this an obvious one?
No.
I don't know.
You don't know?
Are they Biff? What is this?
No, it wouldn't be. Well, it won't be Biff.
Are they Jawas?
Jawas, yes. Yeah, you're
that
right.
makes sense. Yeah. Jawas.
I was really overthinking this.
All right. This is question 2. Who confidently asks 2 Jedi to hand over their lightsabers, noting, "We don't want to make a mess of things in front of the Chancellor"?
Count Dooku?
Yes, Count Dooku, that is correct. Who claims to have broken into places more secure than the Imperial bunker on Endor?
Yeah, it's gotta be Han.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Nice.
Who unwittingly destroys the controls to extend a bridge across the Death Star's chasm?
That's Leia, right?
It's Luke Skywalker unwittingly.
Oh, it's Luke. He shoots it.
He shoots the wall. Yeah. Okay, which planet is Luke Skywalker approaching when he announces over the comlink, "I'm not picking up any cities or technology"?
Dagobah.
Yep, Dagobah. All right, last one. Who, after landing a vicious kick to General Grievous's leg, grimaces and grabs his shin in pain?
Ben Quadraneros.
You got it.
Yeah, nice.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you, Bryce, for joining us this week, and happy May the 4th. Happy Star Wars Day to you.
Yeah.
And
to you guys as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
dude.
man. Yeah, we'll catch you later.
Sounds good. Take care, guys. Later.
Take care. Later.
Yep.
All right. So that is that. Ried, you're sticking around for Bad Batch. All right. Blake, we good to go to keep going?
Let's do it.
All right.
Unless you want to make a whole new episode of a podcast.
I think we're good to go. So let's transition over here, and that's what. Oh, hold on a second. Let's get in the land speeder.
Everybody hop in.
Yeah. Woo! All right, Season 3, Episode 15, The Calvary Has Arrived. Directed by Stuart Lee, Saul Ruiz, and Brad Rao. Written by Jennifer Corbett. This episode debuted May 1st, 2024. The children escape and free the Zillow Beast, which goes on a rampage through the facility before finding Echo and Emery. Hunter, Wrecker, and Crosshair infiltrate the base but are captured by Hemlock's CX operatives. Echo and Omega free Nala Se, Rampart, and the other clone prisoners, while Emery takes the other children to safety. Nala Se goes to destroy the facility's data to protect Omega and prevent the Empire from using her research, but Rampart kills her and plans to use this research to leverage with the Empire. Before she dies, Nala Se uses a grenade to destroy the data and kill Rampart. Hemlock attempts to convert Hunter, Wrecker, and Crosshair into operatives, but Echo, Omega, and the other clones free them and defeat the existing operatives. Hemlock takes Omega hostage, but she helps Hunter and Crosshair kill him. They all escape to Pabu. Tarkin shuts down Tantus and diverts its funding to Project Stardust. Emery decides to join Echo in helping the other clones, while Omega and Bad Batch remain on Pabu. Years later, an adult Omega leaves to join a rebellion against the Empire. And that is the 47th and final episode in the Bad Batch, which totals at 3 seasons long, and that was the finale. So, Blake, what did you think of this one off the top of your head? This was a longer episode. This was like 50-something minutes.
It was, yeah. It was basically 2 episodes. It was 50-something minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And Ried, you're still with us. So, what have you... you haven't seen the finale yet, right?
I have not watched a single episode of Bad Batch.
Oh, dang. Spoilers for you,
well, thanks for joining.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't mind.
So,
yeah.
So this finale was quite a bit longer, but it was the kind of thing that, like, as you know, as many of you know, over the last couple of weeks, I've just been feeling like this show is naturally sort of winding down and coming to an end. Unlike with Clone Wars, I feel like that show had the opposite effect. It almost started off as like, okay, what's going on here, and where is the show going in terms of like filler episodes and random plot lines that were like, why do we need to see this? And it all kind of came together
Right.
later and turned into this really amazing show, which kind of seemed like it could go on for so long, and then was canceled in its prime, like literally when it got really solid. And
How many episodes did it get to?
so it got to 5 seasons, with the 6th season halfway done. So it made its way to 6 seasons. It was going to be an 8-season show. There were scripts for 8 seasons.
Oh.
And then eventually, many years later, Disney came back and threw us a bone and gave us a finale in the form of a 7th season. But it was really just a half season that should have been episode arcs that were part of season 6, 7, and 8. So, but it did finalize. It did give us the original finale that we would have had.
Yeah.
But in that time period, things changed. Some characters that may have died ended up surviving to another animated show, which was Star Wars Rebels. And they tried to sort of tie Rebels into Clone Wars a little bit and try and tie off any loose ends that maybe we didn't get with Clone Wars.
Right.
And then finally we got the Clone Wars finale, and then now we've got the Bad Batch, which is the direct sequel from Clone Wars, and kind of does its own tying of loose ends in some ways and opens up cans of worms in other places, which is as well, which I guess leaves us with the thought that, okay, well, there's going to be another animated show coming out soon. And it's not Tales of the Empire; it's going to be something else. But I mean, really, that's just my own speculation. I mean, they've done some resurrections, which are kind of questionable. They've really given us a storyline with Bad Batch that consists of a main group of characters for the course of the whole show. And I mean, I think the biggest missed opportunity, in my opinion, was we're not getting flashes of other character groups throughout the whole series. So I was just kind of happy that this finale, it was really solid. It was a good story. It was an hour-long almost episode. It was the most beautiful looking animated show that's out there right now, and the music is unreal.
Yeah, I think that's the first thing to hit on. Yeah, it's like visually, it was outstanding.
Oh yeah,
The show, man, I can't remember, 2 seasons back, but I've always found this show was above and aboard every other animated show they put out. It's been absolutely gorgeous. Maybe it's because they're aiming at an older audience. Maybe they're just finding their groove. I've just found this show to be just gorgeous, and definitely, I will say there's a bit of a bias towards the first double episode arc, and the finale double episode arc tends to be the most pretty of all. But even overall, I would say this show just looks really good.
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely. So I mean, and the music too. The music's been fantastic. Really, really great score. By the Kevin Kiner Music Group, and we've got it's a solid. It's a Star Wars. In my head, the Bad Batch sort of lives up there, like the Book of Boba Fett would. It's sort of like this one-off show which kind of just happened, and I don't hate I don't hate the Book of Boba Fett. Like, I mean, obviously there's some like laughable moments in the series, like those like moped things, but I mean, it's like I never disliked the series like some people do. It's definitely not the best, but like I'm not like, man, this show sucked or anything like that. The Bad Batch is kind of like that for me. Like it's sort of just there, and it was like, okay, cool. Like we got some Star Wars stories out of it. Some were great, some were not so great. But overall, it was a beautiful looking animated show, and I think it was kind of neat to see a bit of a window of time that we've never seen on screen before. So my hope is that we get
for sure
a future show which delivers more on this particular time period and gives us a better look at sort of what's going on. But
if I were to have a complaint, it'd be that I kept wondering what like Rex was up to this entire time. I feel like we never really got any information on that, and they kind of like started down that storyline of like what he's up to, trying to figure out a lot of the other clones and get them out of the Empire and start this whatever these clones are doing behind the scenes, kind of rescue them, whatever, find them a place. Mm-hmm. They kind of alluded to that's what he's up to, but then we never really got an actual story about it, and it's just been in the back of my head. Maybe it's because we have all this history with Rex, so I want to know what's going on there. We never really got a detailed point of that. Like Echo left and worked with Rex for a long period of time, and then just came back, and we still just didn't get this window into what was going on, and whether that's the story they're waiting for, or it's just something that they haven't fleshed out yet. But that's just something that I felt like was hanging over this series.
Mm-hmm. Some level of sacrifice was made on the part of Crosshair, who we've seen him with his shaky hand for the longest time. Got it chopped.
Got it removed entirely.
Got it removed entirely. It may have done him the favor. But yeah, it was interesting to see the Zillo Beast, break out and see that sort of cause rampage. Was this the same Zillo Beast, do you think, that they found like as a much smaller Zillo Beast like earlier in the series, or was it?
I'm guessing it's the same one that they captured in Bad Batch. Yeah, that would make the most sense. I didn't do a one-to-one comparison, but that was my assumption.
Just like they put some rapid growth technology on it or something like that. And
well, if I remember correctly from the episode, it absorbs like electricity or power, and then it allows it to grow.
That's true.
Which then I find really funny because I think they keep shooting with blasters, which it makes it grow bigger.
It's like that. Do you guys remember those little like rubbery, like slippery dinosaur things that you put in like a cup of
water and they expand?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's very 90s.
That's very 90s. Yeah, I feel like most people won't understand that reference, but yeah.
Chia.
So like, it's a bit like that, but I mean, it was neat to see. It was neat to see Omega as an older clone, right? Like she doesn't have, unlike Hunter, Crosshair, and Echo and Wrecker, like all of these clones, like they have genetically modified attributes to them that give them accelerated growth, right? Accelerated aging. So at the very end of the series, they sort of did a Clone Wars finale thing where you flash forward like 10 years, whatever. And we see Omega as a bit of an older girl, young woman, I guess. And she's going off to fight with the rebellion. So we kind of get a sense of like when this is taking place, definitely between the events of episode 4 through maybe 6, I guess, and I don't know exactly when, but we see it like an aged Hunter, an aged Hunter is one of the main Rambo clone character, and he looks quite old, right? Like he's definitely in no shape of fighting anymore. So I guess like Pabu really has been set up to be this place of refuge for them, and ultimately is executed as that plan. It's like their plan is to retire and basically live away from it all on this place. And so it's interesting. It's very cool to see them finally kind of in that state of life, and really that their fight is done, and they're just sort of passing the torch on to Omega as the next generation of person who's going to go out into the galaxy and fight for freedom, right? Nice. And so yeah, just what did you think of that, Blake? Like seeing her as like a young woman and old Hunter and all that. Like, what did it give you the feels?
It made me just kind of question a number of things. I don't know if I'd say it gave me the feels so much. It seems like a natural progression.
Yeah.
But it raised some questions in my mind, which were I think you're leading to is like, I mean, where is she just in the era in general? Because it's so fleshed out at this point. So I'm wondering where she shows. If she wants to join the rebellion, what does she do? Where does she show up? Why we've never seen her? Just cohesive,
right?
Canon questions, but also just to like Hunter and the rest of the Bad Batch, if they're alive at this point, like I find it very surprising that they don't want to take up with the hearing of the rebellion and everything. Why did they not take up arms? I mean, we now have a canon Rex showing up in Return of the Jedi, and through all of through Star Wars Rebels, we see these clones that are taking up arms and stuff. So my only excuse I could see why they wouldn't join is they're looking after Omega. But if Omega's wanting to join, it's very strange to me that they wouldn't bother to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's become so complacent, which doesn't feel in line with their characters.
Right.
That being said, we don't know if there's going to be another show based around Omega, if they're going to have storylines around her, and maybe they will partake in some of it. But that's kind of first crossed my mind. But I will say, seeing time jumps and then seeing specifically Hunter in his old age, there's a little bit of that pang of like, you see him old, right? And there's a bit of like, he's not what he used to be, kind of sadness. But yeah, I think that just comes with like seeing someone no longer in their point of glory state of their good health.
Right, totally. And, I think like if we were to take this to sort of in real life, like some soldiers who may have fought in, whatever recent war may have happened, like, are they still part of a war happening on planet Earth somewhere else? Like, maybe not, right? Like maybe like for them, their fight is done. It's like, it's now somebody else's turn to do that job, right? And they're content with that decision, and, they're content with living the life of a civilian at this point. Right. So like the sense of duty is sort of, I guess, gone or complete within them, right? Like they're satisfied to pass that responsibility on to someone else because they know that they've accepted that they can't be those guys that are fighting the Empire and saving. Like from the beginning of this show, almost the whole goal and the whole like plot line, and part of the reason why I think this show can't go on much longer is because the main driving point for this group of characters has always been, we need to get away from the Empire and save Omega and keep her safe. And it never really went away from that. It really never really changed from that goal. And so I think for me to finally finish this series, it was sort of like a breath of fresh air, going like, I'm finally glad that this show is over, and not in a bad way, but in a way that's like, I feel like this show was kind of complete a while ago. They could have ended it in season 2 when they got to Babu, and it just sort of turned into a bit of a joke with even that place turning into a chaos zone. But
you felt like it had the potential to just kind of drag on.
Yeah, and it just sort of began to repeat itself, right? Like Omega gets captured again and again and again, and it's like, okay, all right.
Yeah, I know we've made a few jokes about that over the last season and season and a half.
Totally, yeah. So it's finally sort of like, okay, awesome. We got a fantastic finale. We saw an ending that sort of left us satisfied. I agree there's a bit of a can of worms there with, however you want to look at the Hunter storyline and where these characters have been all this time. But at the same time, it's like, I think I'm okay to kind of like leave it where it is, and then they'll sort of fix that story later. I mean, it's like 10 years. It's been 10 plus years since we saw Barriss Offee in Clone Wars, and now only finally, as of today, Tales of the Empire has dropped, and we're going to finally see what happened to Barriss Offee.
Yeah, Josh is just exhausted with Bad Batch. Josh is done. Needs a break.
I'm just like, man, like I like moving on to other stories, and Bad Batch has never been my favorite Star Wars animated show. It's been entertaining to watch, but like, am I gonna rewatch it 8 times over? Probably not, right?
So do you feel like that it was just like really just a patch job? Like, oh, we're gonna fill in these gaps leading up to some more important stories.
No, but like that's the thing, is it wasn't sort of a show that was designed to be any sense of
filler.
It wasn't designed to be a connective tissue show, and that's what I thought it would be from when they announced the show that the show was happening. I always thought like, oh great, we're gonna get like a Clone Wars style format with story arcs, and mainly about these group of characters, but also like we're gonna see some other things, right, in this really fascinating time period of right when the Empire kind of gets going. And we did get the main group characters, but every week, back-to-back stories, no story arcs in this era. So it's like they kind of met me halfway there as far as what I was expecting. And but then I think
Josh half of what he wanted.
What sort of brought it down for me was the ever repeating plot line of the story, and we never never moved on from the let's get Omega away from the Empire. Like Mandalorian managed to do that within like I think 2 seasons. Like by the end of the 2nd season, like you don't really get the feeling like everyone's out for Grogu anymore, right?
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point.
Actually, maybe the 1st season. I think they may have wrapped it up after 1 season, because I don't think bounty hunters are after Grogu in the 2nd season. But
yeah, they kind of each. Yeah, I guess to Mandalorian's credit, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think they kind of had like a reasonable like season finale at the end of each season, where you're like, oh, okay, this arc is like more or less like complete.
Yeah. Or actually,
for the most part,
it was season 2. It was season 2.
Season 2. I was gonna say because end of season 1 is when Moff
he shows his face. Yeah,
shows his face.
And then season 2 is when
he's kind of.
That's when we get Luke Skywalker showing up and all that. I think, right?
Yeah. So they did. Yeah. There's at least like a sense of like kind of like closure. We're moving on to the next stage or whatever. I could imagine. I can only imagine.
So imagine Mandalorian, but season 3 is still all about Moff Gideon going after Grogu, right? Like that.
I'd be done.
That's just it, right? Like I don't want to sound harsh on the Bad Batch or anything like that, but I just felt like season 3 was just too much with the same stories,
the same plot,
the same overall. Okay, Omega's in trouble constantly, right? Yeah. I don't know. Blake, you get me there, or like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I kind of felt the same way. It did feel like I got a little reciprocal with the storylines, and I do tie it exactly to what you're talking about, where we really were just following this group of 5 characters, as opposed to Clone Wars, where you're jumping around and watching different arcs. And I get that specifically in Clone Wars, you're looking at a war over a handful of years. So there's a lot of different characters doing different things in that time period.
Yeah.
But kind of what I alluded to earlier is like we could have done that with Rex and Echo and stuff, but they just chose not to. And I feel like personally that was a missed opportunity.
I think so too, because they were setting it up on the side throughout the whole of the Bad Batch. They kept on setting up like, oh, Rex is doing this, Rex is doing that. And even in I think it was the season 1 or season 2 finale, like Echo goes off with Rex for the longest time and he's just gone from the show, which I think was a great like story decision because him and Tech kind of do the same thing. Like they're both kind of like astromech computer guys. And so it was a good in-choice story. But then it's like, okay, well, where's the opportunity there? There's so much, to show us what he's up to with Rex, and we just never got that. So I think like to me it was a cool finale and I enjoyed it, but I'm just glad that the show's over. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like, let's move on.
Yeah, I get that. I liked it a lot. Like I said, visually it was gorgeous. It was by far the best animated series they've ever put out as far as the visual representation of what they can do.
Yeah.
But I'm also ready for the next thing. It did start to feel a little too repetitive. I'm ready for something fresh at this point.
I'll bring up two more things, which is we got Tarkin showing up at the very end. He shows up and he's basically like, to me it was a bit of a quick transition, but it was like he takes one look at Tantus and he's like this giant like multi-trillion-dollar like Imperial base built into a mountain, right? And he's like, all right, well, just transfer the funds to Project Stardust, call it a day, right?
And just ditch it. Like so much money went into that place.
Yeah.
And I found that was so funny too, because to me it felt like he was talking to some like first rank like corporal in the Empire, right? And then a bunch of stormtroopers, like and he just tells
ensign.
He just tells this like trainee, like, just transfer all of the money to Project Stardust.
Yeah.
And they'll probably have no idea what that is.
Yeah,
why would you tell them this?
Yeah, because Project Stardust is like, no one talks about Project Stardust. Like even to know about Project Stardust, like is like nobody knows, right? Like that's the whole point of the Thrawn novels that we got from Timothy Zahn recently, is like if you even know that Project Stardust is a project, like you're in the inner circle, right?
Yep.
So
exactly.
So you needed there needed to be a director critic there or something like that.
There should have been some sort of secret meeting
somebody
instead.
high end. Yeah, secret meeting or somebody really important over a call or something.
I think it was a missed opportunity for Ian McDermott to show up again. They should have brought Ian back as the Emperor to talk to Tarkin about his findings on Tantus. There should have been a conversation there about Tarkin explaining Tantus is irreparable.
Yeah.
And then the conversation taking place with Palpatine requesting, it's like, okay, well, then let's move resources to Project Stardust and go ham on Project Stardust. And don't forget, we can't leave out the whole debate between Tarkin and Thrawn, because also there's something in the books and in the Rebels animated show with Thrawn versus Tarkin on Project Stardust versus his like TIE Defender project. Yeah. So like it's like this. I don't know if they want to go that deep for fans who hadn't seen Rebels or whatever, but like I just think it was a missed opportunity for there to be a more detailed conversation between a character that did show up in season 2 of The Bad Batch, which was the Emperor, and at the beginning of season 3 as well. I think Didn't he show up in season 3 at the beginning? He like goes to Tantus base and inspects it. Ian McDermott, like the Emperor. I'm pretty sure it was season 3.
Oh, at the very beginning. Yeah, at the opening episode.
Yeah. Yep. So I think it was a missed opportunity to sort of bring that story full circle and have the Emperor's personal take on like what happened there, right? And because it also concerns his big project Necromancer, which we hear about in The Mandalorian, which is the whole cloning project, right? And that's a big part of this show. So
that's what I wanted to actually get into a little bit, is where they left off at the end of the series actually does fit very well into what happens in the sequel era.
That's true.
We find out Palpatine, he was trying to clone himself, and he ends up making a squib clone where there's non-force sensitive.
Rey's dad. Yeah.
That's right. And then Rey is born of the clone of Palpatine. It leads into there because if this Project Necromancer had worked with Omega, they should have been able to clone force sensitive clones.
Right.
So they did a good job with that.
Yeah, they did. And they also did a good job with where the research was left, where it was sort of in this state of like, okay, most of this information and knowledge is now lost because like Nalase blew up those databanks. So a lot of that stuff, that's probably one of the reasons why Dr. Pershing in The Mandalorian is so invaluable, because he's probably one of the few people that has like refigured out a lot of this stuff, this research, right? And the knowledge. So it's sort of a playing into that later time frame where, you know, Project Necromancer is still happening, but in the shadows and under Moff Gideon's watch, and not a lot of resources to work with, and not a lot of information that sort of would have been had, I guess, if the Empire had not lost Tantus base, right? So if that makes any sense. I don't know if I jumbled up my words there, but yeah, that's sort of a really good, you know, set of connective tissue there. I agree. Is there anything you want to bring up more about this one, or should we just Pablo Pudu this and call it a day?
I feel like it was a pretty solid episode. We kind of covered it all. It was mostly action. There's not too much more to talk about,
right?
Because I wonder what they're going to do with the Jedi younglings. They talked about returning them to their parents, but
I believe that.
I feel like if we did that, Palpatine would just find them again, because that's where he found them in the first place.
Right. Yeah, no, I believe that. Maybe their kids and their parents or whatever, like the kids and the parents, they probably end up going into, what's that thing that we hear about in Kenobi and Jedi Survivor? What is it called? The Path? It's called The Path.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because, they're trying to get everyone to, like, whatever.
Yeah.
Sanctuary.
Which I can definitely see that happening because, you know, and again, spoilers for anyone who hasn't maybe seen Kenobi, but the Path is like that underground movement of like moving Force-sensitive kids and people around.
Yeah, it's like the Star Wars version of the Underground Railroad.
Yeah, for like Force-sensitive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and we also find out that Quinlan Vos is part of that movement. And, you know, spoilers for season 3 of Bad Batch, but you know, Ventress is back. Ventress has been resurrected from the dead somehow. And there's a big whole thing of like, what's going to happen with her? Is Quinlan aware of her existence again? Sort of thing, like what's going on there. And there's maybe a high chance that maybe we'll see that storyline take place. These kids, Ventress, Quinlan Vos, The Path, you know, these little pieces of the puzzle that sort of tell that story. We'll see that come together at some point down the road. So that'll be kind of cool to see if they ever do it. But yeah. All right, Blake, what is your Pablo Points at Pudus? And also, can you explain the rating system for people, please?
Sure. So we rate shows in Star Wars Media on our Pablo Pudu rating system. It is a score of 7, starting with 3 Pablo Pudus, and we're going down 3, 2, 1 to 0. That's a Bendu. And then from there, we move into the positive score of Pablo Points. 1, 2, 3, and 3 Pablo Points being the best of the best of the best.
That's right. So that being said, what would you give the Bad Batch season 3 finale?
I will say it's a little bit tricky because visually it was fantastic, and audibly it was fantastic, and I feel it was satisfying of an ending, but nothing was too unexpected. So I think I'll give it 1.75 Pablo points. The one thing we didn't talk about, which we should, is the mentally corrupted clones that have been turned into assassins.
Oh, the CX clones, yeah. The CX.
Yeah, because we did learn how they were created, which was they were mentally manipulated, perhaps similarly to what we saw Han Solo go through in Empire Strikes Back.
Right. Just torture, but all like for the brain, I guess.
But like, yeah, but they've been made really submissive, and it seems Dr. Sorry, what's his name? Well, he starts with an H. Helsing? No.
No. Yeah. What's his face again? I forget. Yeah, the main villain guy.
Helsing?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever his name is. Starts with an H. He alluded to the fact that that's actually the same process that they had put Crosshair through, but Crosshair was put through an earlier iteration, which is why he was...
Yeah, it didn't work.
It didn't work, but he still worked for the Empire anyway because he believed good soldiers follow orders.
Right.
That later turned into what we saw, these new assassin clones used for. I found it pretty neat how he had like 4 specific like clones. Each had their own abilities or whatever, and he kept them in some sort of cryostasis, ready to be deployed.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. That was like very Winter Soldier-y from Captain America.
Yeah, or like the beginning of the first Halo game when Master Chief comes out of cryostasis.
Yeah, welcome to the Halo podcast again. All right, wait, how many Pablo points of Pudas? We should wrap it up for today.
Oh, me? I said like 1.75.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, you did say that. Okay. I would probably give the finale. Yeah, I would say 1. I would say, you know what? I'll give it 2. It was pretty great. It was a great finale. A lot of work, visually and audibly impressed me. It blew me away. So I'll say
it's a
I'll
2
say 2
because it was the finale. Josh is done.
Yeah. I'm glad it's over.
Yeah.
He's happy it's over.
Yeah. No, it was good. It was great.
It's over. This is it.
It's over, Anakin.
I gave you a high score.
It's over, Anakin. I have Tales of the Empire. All right, cool. Well, there we go. There we have it. Bad Batch after show is now officially over. So, thank you to all of our listeners who tuned in each week, joining us for the Bad Batch after show. I mean, it's kind of surreal. Another animated show comes to a close. Not often that we can say that. But lots to look forward to. In the next 2 weeks, we're going to do Tales of the Empire, one with the Barris story arc, and then the week after we'll do the Morgan Elsbeth, or vice versa. And and then of course we have the Asajj Ventress What Happened episode to get around to, and we still need to do that. So lots to look forward to, lots of Star Wars conversations to happen. But before we wrap it up, I got one trivia card for each of you. So don't worry, Reed. You'll go after Blake. Blake, we'll start with you, Blake. Okay, here you go. First question: who objects to Senator Amidala insists on flying to Mustafar without him?
Flying to Mustafar without him?
Yeah. Who objects when Senator Amidala insists on flying to Mustafar without him?
There's Revenge of the Sith. Who objects?
Yeah.
Captain Panaka?
You're close. You want another swing? It's a Captain something.
Oh.
Captain something.
Yeah. Oh. Think like weather.
Weather.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, it's Captain Typho. I always think of Typhoon when I see his name.
I wouldn't have got that. Yeah, I didn't know that character's name.
What color lightsaber blade does Obi-Wan Kenobi wield in his final battle? Ooh, that's easy.
Blue.
Yeah. Which character does Qui-Gon Jinn describe as someone who gives without any thought of reward?
Someone who gives without any thought of reward, with Anakin.
Yeah, of course. Who tells Queen Amidala the Republic is not what it once was?
That'd be Palpatine.
Yeah. What vehicle does Luke Skywalker take down with a harpoon gun and a landmine?
Oh.
Sorry, I got distracted halfway through that. Could you repeat it one more time?
What vehicle does Luke Skywalker take down with a harpoon gun and a landmine?
Oh, Snowspeeder.
Which vehicle does he take down?
Oh, take down, AT-AT.
Yeah. How many movies mention the Death Star in the opening crawl? Oh, that was a difficult one.
How many movies mention the Death Star? It's got to be...
in the opening crawl.
Yeah. Did it specifically use the word Death Star? Because then it's just one, Return of the Jedi, because I think they refer to it as the Empire's secret battle station in New Hope.
So on the back of this card, it actually is 3. So like I'm trying to remember though which ones.
The only other one it could be would be like Rise of Skywalker, but I don't know about that.
I think it is an Empire because...
Why would I mention an Empire? It doesn't exist. There's no Death Star in Empire.
Well, no, but I think it says something about Darth Vader.
After Luke destroyed the Imperial battle station, the Death Star.
No, it says something about how Darth Vader, I think, has found, or he's been searching for the pilot who destroyed the Death Star.
Oh, who blew up the Death Star? Yeah, you're right. Yeah, right. That was a trick question. I do remember that.
Yeah, and then I'm trying to remember the third one.
It depends. To me, it comes down to wording because if it's because I'm pretty sure. In A New Hope, it refers to the Empire's secret battle station. It doesn't actually use the name Death Star.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it must be one of the sequels then. Maybe episode 7 with the Death Star. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, the answer is 3 though, so we'll have to take a look at that later and see which ones it is. All right, Ried, here's this card is for you. Which high-ranking Republic official has the fitting name, or the fitting first name, Finis? What?
What?
Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah, I don't think I'll.
Never gonna get.
Yeah, I don't think I'll get
Never,
this one. I don't think you'll get this one.
What's
Okay.
the answer?
Okay, the answer is Chancellor Valorum. I didn't even know his first name was
What?
Finis.
First name? What the fuck?
Yeah,
Okay.
Finis.
Yeah, I've only ever heard of
Finis.
Yeah, I guess
title
Finis,
name.
No one in the entire franchise calls it Finis.
Finis Valorum.
Yes.
Finis Valorum.
Yeah,
Okay, you're
yeah.
finished, Valorum.
Yeah, Finis is finished. All right, who dismisses the Force as a simple tricks and nonsense?
Oh, Han Solo.
Yeah, you got it. What
Or,
planet?
Wait. What's the wording that he used though? Calls it hokey.
Hokey religions and ancient magic.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and then he refers to it as simple tricks and nonsense.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
When he's saying like, oh, I don't need that. I just it's a whole lot of simple tricks and nonsense. What planet is Count Dooku on when he first is greeted as Darth Tyrannus? When the name for Darth Tyrannus is first used in Star Wars, which planet is he on? This is episode 2 question.
Episode 2.
Yeah.
Is he on Geonosis?
Nope. Yeah, one more guess.
Because they call him Lord Tyrannus.
Yeah. Where is he?
Because it's after. Oh, it's Coruscant.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, there we go.
Welcome home, Lord Tyrannus.
Yeah.
Which duo infiltrates Jabba's palace after R2-D2 and C-3PO?
Sorry, say that one back to me again.
Which duo infiltrates Jabba's palace after R2-D2 and C-3PO?
Oh, is it after R2-D2?
Yeah.
Is it Lando and...
No, actually, Lando's already there, though.
Lando's
It's a good guess, but Lando was already there for some reason.
So then is it Leia and Chewie?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. I gotta say that one kind of doesn't count because Chewie goes into a jail cell and then Leia gets
I guess
clapped in
it's all
irons
part of
and
the act. But
wears her very well-known costume.
Yeah. Into which building does the new Darth Vader lead a large contingent of clone troopers?
Oh, the Jedi Temple.
Yeah. Who shies away from an official Senate function claiming, "I'm not brave enough for politics"?
Oh, is that Obi-Wan?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you got
cool.
it. Good guess. Yeah. Or good knowledge, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for joining this week on celebrating Star Wars Day on Star Wars Escape Pod with me. And I guess Ried will catch you in an episode much later down the road.
It seems to be
another year away.
Yeah.
And Blake, as usual.
Time to abandon ship.
As usual, Blake, thank you again for popping on and joining. And I guess we will catch you in another episode. And you're going to pick up one of those stickers, right? Or you already have a sticker. Did I give you a sticker?
You gave me one. That's right.
All right. Cheated.
I'm waiting for a new phone to give it a home.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, they're definitely good for phones, that's for sure. All right. Well,
thanks for having me, man. It's always a good time. I always enjoy a good Star Wars chat.
Always, yeah. It's always such a fun thing to do, and to know that people out there are listening to us, it makes it all the more special. So, big thank you to the listeners as well. Thanks for coming back on, and we will catch you in the next one.
See you out there. Keep flying.
All right. Thank you so much to our fantastic audience out there. We really appreciate you, and we would appreciate any 5-star reviews on Spotify or Apple Podcast. Even if you don't even use Apple Podcasts, just search us up and slap the 5 stars on there. That really helps us out. Helps us out with the search algorithms, people locating the podcast. Whenever you got a lot of reviews, it helps people locate in the search. And if you search up Star Wars in a podcast app, it's annoyingly populated, shall we say. All the respect in the world to all the other podcasts out there. But man, it is hard for all of us to find our listener base. So, for those of you out there on Star Wars Escape Pod listening from home, definitely do us a favor and give us a 5-star review. That helps us out a lot. Thank you to our friends and for this week for joining the show, and for Kyle and the conventions, sending us those videos of fans from Newfoundland still. We've got more of them to listen to in the coming weeks, so stay tuned. Follow our Twitter at SW Escape Podcast. Our email is also in the description, or I believe, or if not, it's swescapepodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube and subscribe to us there. You can find us in the search with the handle at SW Escape Podcast. Look for us on Swell, and go check out East Post Sticker Company. Links in the description. Join the Discord, so many things. May the 4th be with you, and we'll see you in the next episode of Star Wars Escape Pod.